Good morning, you guys. I wanted to create this video as I promised you I would, showing you how to create your maps in ArcGIS Online. This is my sixth or so attempt making these maps for you, or this video for you, because of my technical difficulties, so hopefully this one works. Remember the other day we went to arcgisonline.com, or you could go to this website here, arcgis.com. If you weren't here on Friday to do this, regardless, you need to go ahead and do the sign in. And this is if you weren't here, you would go over here to try ArcGIS and follow all the setup questions and setup. It's a free account. It gives you a 30-day trial. If you have any issues as you're installing it, email me, take a screenshot so I can help troubleshoot it for you. And the rest of us, though, we need to go ahead and log into our accounts that we created. Excuse me. Once we've logged in, we're going to go ahead and click up to our map. And we're going to get our blank map. If you had opened a map, if you had saved it the other day, I'm assuming it's under my ESRI, but I will look into that further. But we're going to, really I'd like for us to all start with the new map today. So we're going to go ahead and hover over to kind of where Georgia is. If you're using an actual mouse, if you just click the button on your mouse, and if you have a scroll wheel, you can just zoom in by using that scroll wheel. If you're using the touchpad, you basically can double click on a touchpad, or you can use your two-finger swipe or whatnot if it's a Mac to zoom into where it is. But we want to zoom into about the area of kind of the metro area. The other day I had you guys add some layers that was the NHD flow line. We're going to switch that up today because when it published to our maps, we were seeing it as black lines and black polygons for our lakes, ponds, rivers, streams, creeks, etc. And that doesn't trigger the mind to think waterways. So I actually found another data set that we're going to use instead. But before we do that, I'd like to show you guys how you could change this background, or this base map, if you will. This default one is topography. You can change it to several different ones if you'd like. And to do that, you go ahead and click on base map. And if you'd like a satellite picture, a satellite with labels, if you just want some streets, whatever ones you would like to do, a lot of these little nuances I'm going to show today are for your own look for how you want your map to be. So I'll leave that up to you. For all intents and purposes, I'm just going to show you guys with the topographic one today, because if I did show the imagery one, for instance, it's actually going to take a really long time to load it, and it's a waste of time in a video. So we're going to leave this as is. When we're ready to add our data, we're going to go over here to our Add button, Add Contents to Map, and we're going to search for layers. To help narrow down your results, go ahead. I know some people said, oh, I unchecked this box to find my layers and for it to load. Go ahead and check the box. That will make life a lot easier. And if you're using Internet Explorer, you may get stuff pop up on the bottom of your window that says, do you want to allow these security add-ons or these run-ins or blah, blah, blah. So make sure you allow any of those kind of prompts that pop up, whether you're using Chrome, you're using Firefox, you're using Safari, Internet Explorer, whatnot. If it asks to trust something or run content from ESRI or ArcGIS, allow it. That will help, I think, save a lot of the problems some of you were having the other day when you couldn't add the data. It would say data couldn't be added at this time. And it could be just our lovely laptops we have at school, how great quality they are too. I don't know. But that will help. That's the first step to troubleshooting things. So first thing we're going to look for, remember, we're going to always search in ArcGIS Online. If you're using, I think your default is my favorites or my content. So make sure it's ArcGIS Online. And we're going to look for US EPA hydrography. And I spelled that wrong. US EPA hydrography. We're going to go ahead and add that layer to our map. remember, this is A, a very large file, and B, these data layers that we're adding don't show up until we zoom into a certain distance. So once we get all the data layers we need and zoom in, then they will show up. The next layer we're going to look for is Georgia schools. And that is going to be school community facilities. If you'd like to add some of these other ones, like a library, or if you want to add these colleges, city halls, whatever else you may see on here, you're more than welcome to. The Land Pro is really, I wouldn't click on those. It's something set up from another different GIS layer through the Atlanta Regional, and it's not going to give you the data you need. So it is your call which you'd like to add. At bare minimum, you do need to have the school's community facilities on there. Again, you will see that nothing is showing up here, but if we zoom in a little further, we'll start to see these layers show up. And now we've got our blue lines that show all of our US EPA hydrography, but we're still not getting our dots for our schools. And that's because that layer isn't turned on yet. So we'll go ahead and move over here to our details, and then we're going to click on content. So I've set to put colleges, libraries, and schools, and you can see these boxes are unchecked. So if we click those boxes, now we've got our schools showed up. And the map automatically chooses a default symbol and color, like our schools are green. It looks like these libraries are blue, and these colleges look like a little lighter blue. That, visually speaking, doesn't really trigger the mind to think, okay, that's a school, or that's a library. So we're going to actually show you how to change the symbols to those to actually look on an actual map. So it gets the mind realizing, okay, that actually is a school. And what I'd like for you to do as we're at this step is go ahead and get your full-size sheet. That is for your HSI index sheet. All right, looks similar to that quarter sheet you chose for your own site you chose the other day, but the full-size sheet that corresponds with your hotspot. For some of you guys, it's Univar USA. I think one of you it's Vulcan Chemical Company. One of you it says Woodall Creek site. So find that full-size sheet. Go ahead and pause if you need to find that. And then look for the address. We're not going to type in the actual street number. We're just going to type in the address. So this is the Woodall Creek one. We type in the address without the site. It should bring us to where we need to go. All right. So there's Ellsworth Industrial Boulevard. Here's Woodall Creek, and then it shows if we zoom out a little bit more. There's a bunch of schools around there, and looks like there's a library right there on the creek. Interesting. So that gives you to the general vicinity of the road that your site is on. Now, if your road, if you're getting something like zoomed in, or if it's something that's like Peachtree Street, that's 10 miles worth of the road, then yeah, you need to type in your actual street number. But for most of us, I think you can just type in your street name. So we'll go ahead and go to that. So as I was saying a couple minutes ago, it will visually make your map look nicer if you can get some symbols that more accurately represent schools. So our schools right now are in green, and if you don't know exactly what it is, you can go ahead over here to Legend and click on that, and it will tell you your data set name. It will tell you the colors that it is, and for the US EPA, it actually shows a lot of these different ones, so referencing it. So like a lake pond, it's actually giving us this little polygon shape here. So maybe if we went to South Georgia, we'd see Okefenokee Swamp looking more like this swamp marsh line. So that just kind of shows us what our legend is, but we want to focus on changing these symbols here. So we want to click back on content, and I'm going to change our schools layer. So if we actually click this down arrow, we get all these different ones, and we can actually change our symbols for it, and it's right now using a single symbol. I haven't played around with that portion enough, but I can tell you that if you just come down here and change symbol under options, you can get a whole bunch of different symbols. And I am not going to take off points if you decide that a orange sunburst is your best visual representation for a school, but your choice on what symbol you use is, I guess, what I'm trying to say. But when we do make maps, it is best that we end up choosing things that might actually better represent what might be what we're looking for. So I just went to, you search through all these. I'm not going to go through these on this video with you, so you guys kind of can see what you want to do. But shoot, what I just had. No. Now I forget what I was just on. I'm going to choose this one for my schools, and your size is pretty small, so if you look behind here, all the green dots are going to change to these tiny little, as you can see there, schoolhouses. And it's pretty hard to see those even when you're zoomed in a close layer. So I do my pixel about 30. You can type it in here or scroll it, hit apply, and now our schools show up a lot nicer. So we can see we've got a school pretty darn close to the Woodall Creek site. Several schools, it looks like. Now, go ahead and choose another one. So our libraries, I'm going to change those. Again, we're going to click this down arrow, change symbols, our options, change symbol, and for this one I found in our general infrastructure, one that looks like a book with a building. So set my pixels to about that size, apply, done. Looks like we got a library showing up over here. You can't change the symbol with the EPA. I was initially going to still have us use that NHD flow line and change it, but on this version of ArcGIS map, you can't do that. So that's why we went with the US EPA hydrography, so it's in blue for us. But I do want to change one more, which is our colleges. So hopefully by me doing this also several times, you kind of can get a feel for what I'm doing and have some practice with it. Like there's a zoo. Again, toy around with this, figure out what's best going to flow for you. I'm going to do a light bulb that colleges, try to light up your brain and make you think of things. So you can see Georgia, looks like Georgia Tech over here, another small college university. If we scroll down further, we'll get Georgia State right there. So you can see those. Again, your choice on what symbols you use. Once you come back to our site area, which you guys probably haven't moved around your sites, and you may not have libraries or colleges or some of the other layers you've added able to visually see in your site, and that's okay. We do want to zoom our zone out to an area of about 2 kilometers. I don't know, I'm going to toy with this some more. We might find a way we can change this to miles, but actually a kilometer is probably enough. So if this is where our Woodall Creek site is, we can actually go measure how far the school is by clicking this measure, and we can click a distance. Here you can set your distance to miles, and if we click and then move our cursor over, I can actually see that the school is about 0.8 miles away. If you click it again, it's actually going to start to create a route. So we can see that it'd be from our starting point to here is 2.66 miles. From here to here is 4.05, etc., etc. If you double click, it will stop doing that line. But this does just show us how to do that. As you can see, I got stuck here. Once you just close out measure, that does go away. Another powerful tool for this is that if we were to have an issue with our, let's say, some sort of health issues were starting to occur in our area, we can actually, in this type of map that we're doing with ArcGIS, we can click on the school and it tells us that it's the Howard School. It gives us an address, it gives us the phone number, and it tells us it's a private school. So we could actually go contact that school and start to interview those people that are there, seeing, hey, is there some trend that we're maybe observing based upon the toxins that are released? So that shows just how else of a really powerful tool this could be. Next thing you're going to do is go ahead and save your map. All right, I've done some of these demos this morning, so I'm going to call this, literally have done 4 different demos this morning, so I'm going to call this Demo 4. You have to have a tag. I've been calling my tags ApeSpicer, just so you can see. You only have to have at least one tag. You're not going to have that pop up yet because it's not populated, but type in something. If you want more multiple tags, type a comma between them and then hit Save Map, and it will be saved in the folder JWSpicer47. So that is that. You will need to also create a map for your individual site you've chosen, which was your quarter sheet. I'm going to create a separate video on how to do that and some stuff that I specifically need you to do and send me for that. So this was just the basics of getting through these initial steps for the map and going from there. I will show you guys how to submit this and to print this when it's come time to be ready. But that does conclude setting this portion up and what we went over on Friday. I hope this helps. Please shoot me some emails if you have any questions, and I hope you guys are enjoying your snow day off. Because we've had the day off, we still do have this project due on Friday. Just want you to be aware of that. So just know that. And if you have any questions, like I said, shoot me an email, and we'll go from there. I hope you've had a nice 4-day weekend now, and I will see you guys tomorrow.